Hey guys, Shan here from shanstips.com, and we are with the one and only Saul Maraney. We're doing a great interview today. How are we doing, Saul?
Hey, Shane. Doing well, thanks. And it's great to speak to you today. Thanks so much.
Awesome. So how's things going? I just seen that about a week ago you had an awesome launch. It was product of the day. How'd that go for you?
Yeah, that went very well. Thank you. That was my 15th WSO of the day, and it went very well. It was a great product that we put together, an information product on Warrior Plus. And yeah, overall, it's been going well. Thanks, Shane. It's a good start to the year, and things are looking good at the moment.
That's amazing. 15 in a row. How many total have you done? How many products?
I
Have you
would say
done?
I've done about 20, and 15 were chosen as products of the day.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Tell me a little bit about when you got started, and what's your story? I mean, how did you get started, and how did you get going in the IM space?
Well, I'll give you that background. It's quite an interesting story. In 2009, I came across a book by a copywriter called Joe Vitale. Joe Vitale is actually regarded as one of the top copywriters in the world, and he was writing and he writes about self-help and hypnosis. And so I got onto his list somehow. I mean, it was in 2009, it's like quite a while back, but I got onto his list and he was like promoting, and then he wrote that he had a seminar in Austin, Texas. So I saved up some money and I went to Austin, Texas. I knew that he was an internet guy as well, but I was actually more interested on the hypnosis side. But he talked a lot about selling your products online, and I really enjoyed that seminar. It was in Austin, Texas. Then I came back to South Africa. I was studying hypnosis as well, and I put together then shortly after like my first self-hypnosis product. And it sold very well. I mean, the first one sold 1,000 copies, and I went on to create, I think there were 8 products, and they sold over 10,000 copies. I sold them all on ClickBank with no affiliates.
Wow.
In those days, you could do list building quite easily on Google. So I actually had a one-page squeeze page. I found another person in the niche, in the hypnosis niche, like a very well-known personality, and I had emailed her and I managed to get an interview with her, and then I gave away that interview as a free download, like with the squeeze page. So I built it up, and yeah, I used to email that list maybe 3 times a week just with my products, and they kept on buying. And then about 3 years ago, just over 3 years ago, I had all these websites, and I was actually I remember I was looking for a pop-up, like a exit intent pop-up. So I was looking and looking, and then I came across the Warrior Forum, Googled, and then I came to the Warrior Forum. I thought wow, what's this place? And it was like a whole like a whole community of online marketers. So I got really interested in that. And yeah, so how to progress over the last 3 years is that I decided to leave the hypnosis niche for a number of reasons and really focus on the make money online niche. I like it that it's a lot more dynamic. There's a lot more launches. There's a lot more opportunities for JVing and competitions. And even though I still buy hypnosis products and I still actually really love hypnosis, I moved out of that niche, and I've been focusing on this niche since then. So it's been 3 years, and now I'm doing it full time, meeting really great people and learning every day still,
Well, that's awesome, man. One thing I was really impressed with, when we first started talking about doing this interview, I went and did some research and on some of your products and your background. And one thing that stood out to me, which I don't see a lot from in other people that sell on Warrior Plus, and one thing that I thought was huge is out of all your products, 7 of them had 2% refund rates or less, which is telling me that these products that you put out are solid products, are really high quality products. Now, out of those 7 that were 2% or less, 5 of them was 0 refund rate. So nobody refunded them. And these are not products that sold 20 units or 25. These are units that sold 100, 500, 1,000 units. I mean, these are high, big launches. I mean, this is pretty awesome. That tells
Yeah.
me that the products that you put in are high quality products, and it's impressive to me. Congratulations on that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, look, I mean, from the beginning, I started putting out always the best quality information products that I could, and it's paid off. I mean, I think I've looked at that myself. I must have like amongst like the lowest refund rates, and also like if you look at my statistics on Warrior Plus, I've got thousands of sales, like over 8,000 sales, and like I think 2% refund rate even on my affiliate sales. So yeah, like it's something that's important, you know, and I've got like a list that is very responsive, and they do buy a lot of what I recommend. And I think it comes down to recommending good stuff and bringing out good stuff. And, you know, we do make mistakes at times. Sometimes I've made mistakes once or twice, maybe like even not checking out about a product maybe as well as I could have. And the 1 or 2 times I've done that, it's bitten me. So it's, you know, what I can see, I'm not the top affiliate by any means, but when I look at like what the top guys are doing, you know, one guy, for example, Mark from Maine, if you know him, he's a lot more on the Warrior. He's like on the JV Zoo side. But if you see like the amount of effort he puts in, like he will do a interview with the vendor, then he does his own review, then he like actually adds real classy bonuses, and he's doing massive numbers. Like, you know, I've built up a style is that I will like review the product, then I put almost my thoughts in a email and even offer like the nice bonuses within the email, and it works for me that. But I think there's room for improvement. I mean, I'm looking now actually, even though like I really love Warrior Plus, and I've been, my mentor, he's been like having a big discussion with me. Like we were looking at this month's numbers because we had a meeting earlier, and like I think I did over 300 sales in the month, but they were like $7 of value per sale. So if they were like $15, it would be double. So, you know, that being said, I think that Warrior Plus is amazing. It's my home, and I really love it because it's information products mainly. And I always encourage people to first start off on information products, because softwares are great, but you need the fundamentals. You know, but that being said, there's a lot more commission to sell higher ticket stuff, and it's almost like the same effort. So like we're learning all the time, and I've been doing the launches, as I said, over the last 3 years. Make no mistake, a launch is hell of a stressful. There's a lot of moving parts to get the JVs involved. Is tiring, etc. But it pays off. So like I've had a lot of luck and a lot of success, I would say, is that I focus mainly on like putting out these products and building up the buyers list, and then nurturing those buyers with further sales. I've got like 2 squeeze pages out on the net, and I collect leads at my homepage, but you know, you never really know what sort of lead that is. And in this market, like a proven buyer, someone that buys, these sort of people are buyers. So like they usually like in a motor buying. So if you you can like promote a similar product to that, what they bought already, there's quite a high chance of them buying. Where like when you got a freebie collector, someone that's opting in every freebie they can, it's not even that they can't afford $5 or $6. It's just that maybe they're not even prepared to put that in the game. So like that's been my strategy.
Great. Now, I wanted to ask some questions for the new person coming into the game and starting in the business. So what do you think one of the most important things for a new person to do coming into the IM business?
I think a great way to come into the IM business, if someone's watching this or they want to get into it, they should choose probably, like I would say, the platform to first start off is Warrior Plus. Warrior Plus is a smaller platform concentrating on information products. So the first thing to do would be, you know, find out who's, for example, the top vendor there. A vendor is someone who sells products. So like it's better to go for and maybe start studying someone's product who's sold the most and who's really known as the best. So, I mean, like that wouldn't be so difficult. If you guys come to my mind, like Brendan Macy's #1 by far. So he's got some amazing products that you could start off and purchase a few. Like they're not that expensive. They're like $7 or $10. You've got like Art Flair and a few of these other guys. So I would first start off there by like actually studying. And then I would watch Warrior Plus and keep on watching it. Like, you know, there's once you sign up for a free account and you go into the back office, you'll be able to see like apply for links, and then also they've got the deal of the day section, so you can go back for as long as you want, but want to go back theoretically, like say 30 or 60 days, and then you could look at what have been the winners over the last 60 days. Was it a traffic product? Was it a Facebook product? Was it a CPA product? So first of all, you'll be able to like get a feel for the products that are selling well on the network. And then each product of those products like have a JV contest attached to it. Most of these guys, when they do launches, they have a JV contest in that first week to ramp up sales. So within Warrior Plus, you can go and also then see who were like the top affiliates on all of those launches. So that being said, you know, like that's a good start. First of all, you like saving time. Go for that top vendor and actually study some of his courses. At the same time, start getting used to the platform and click around. I mean, you really can't break anything. It's a well-coded and designed platform. So there's a lot of information there. And then that would be a great step. And then another step would be, I guess the next step would be to come over to Facebook and join the JV groups. There's a lot of JV groups. If you type in JV, or maybe you can even like, I can give a resource there, about 20 that I used. I'm sure they're even more than that. So then you start getting involved in the community. And the thing is that like the more serious you get about this game, you're going to start noticing these guys around and on Facebook. And one could like, you could notice their style, you could maybe like their posts, and do it in a nice way that like if you do it in a genuine, slow, but like efficient way, then these guys are going to start taking notice of you. It's the same thing like how would you get onto the radar of a great affiliate, of a great vendor, is that if you get onto his leaderboard, if you send sales, they'll notice you very quickly. So like that's a great strategy, I think. Really, first of all, nothing comes overnight. Things take hard work. And like I've even got students that like when they start with me, they want instant gratification because it looks easy. Nothing is easy. But like the thing is that if you start off on a few information products yourself and really study them properly, and then start learning the platform, then start like getting involved with the community and starting to understand guys, and all of them have got their own private Facebook groups, and get in there and then start following discussions, like that's a great start. Because you know, within a few months of doing that, you start building up a name for yourself and reputation and relationships, and like things start flowing from there.
I think that's very important, building relationships with people, for sure. One of the questions I had related to what you were just talking about, what would be some of the top influencers you would recommend people follow here, new people getting started?
We're in our space. So,
yes,
which are the top guys? Okay, look, there's a handful of them. As I say, you've got guys that are known as really great affiliates and good vendors, and their products really speak for themselves. So I think like literally, like as I said, I wouldn't want to like there are a lot of them, and there's a lot of really great guys. We all resonate with different personalities, different, because not everyone is your cup of tea. Like I may not be someone's cup of tea, and some people love my style. So that being said, like I would take out the guesswork. So there are, you know, if you go and look at those JV boards, you're going to notice guys like Art Flair always at the top there, and Billy Dar, and Jason Fulton, and these sort of guys. And yeah, like that, you know, maybe pick one or two of those guys, and then go to YouTube. They've all got YouTube channels, like see how they're reviewing it. Maybe even buy their products. Like I bought personally, even though like I get review copies, like sometimes if like Matt Basak, for example, his latest product came out, I bought it because I wanted to like get onto his list as well, and like see how he, like what further products he's going to be promoting. So it gives you a way to get onto a guy's list in that way. So maybe like shell out a few dollars and get onto it, even if you got a review copy, because then you can like get onto that person's list. And like, so they're great guys to follow. You just have to do a little bit of your homework, look at their styles, and then develop your own style, because you're looking for like voice out. And think it's more important to have your own style than to mimic someone completely. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. Well, with that said, let me ask you this. What do you think some of the mistakes you have made you might be able to help other people avoid, especially the new people coming in?
Again, I was speaking to my mentor who helps me a lot, and he's actually like my coach. And we were reflecting on this as well, because we're talking about last year. And I made one or two mistakes last year. One of them was I did a launch with a guy that I didn't check out properly. I'd seen him around Warrior Plus, and I'd never really heard of anything bad about him. He seemed really fun, but I got into a launch with him, and he ended up stealing quite a bit of money from me. And reflecting back on that, I would say that, I'll take responsibility that I didn't check him out enough. And even my coach said to me, if you go into a business with someone in the real world, or even if you get into a relationship, it's good to do that background checking. Most rich and successful people would do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even now, what we're doing is the launches that I'm going into now, it may not carry that much weight cross border, but I put together now a 2-page legal document just outlining what we're doing, just so it actually gives it a little bit more validity. So to be more safe like that.
That's a good idea.
And I would say last year, even though I'm aware of it, I'm still maybe wasting time on Facebook. Facebook's a really exciting and really interesting place to be. And there's wonderful conversations and there's great groups, but you can waste your time there. And a lot of it is also, it keeps you out of you focusing on your own business. And it's also quite confusing because, for example, you could see a screenshot of a Shopify store and a guy made $1 million in the screenshot, but we don't know, maybe spent, for example, $700,000 on ads. So now you're thinking that you want to go into Shopify, and Shopify is wonderful. There's nothing wrong with it, but Facebook is it gives that adrenaline rush when we post something and we get likes, or we see a post and it's got all these comments. So that was another mistake, I would say. And I'm saying what I've learned from that. So just reflecting on that is now, before I partner with anyone, I will check them out first and even get a few references. And I'm being a lot more careful and actually sticking to doing deals with either someone that I know or someone that I've checked out properly. And then the second thing is, yes, I'm getting amazing ideas from Facebook, and it's so important to see what other people are doing in that. But I've made a promise to myself to start divorcing myself more from just mindlessly spending time there, and rather going through trainings, or rather working on products or testing. And it's, I can tell from firsthand, it actually feels better, even emotionally, not to be so much in everyone else's business and then come back with results. So that's been my biggest realization. And one or two other realizations is that I think I've got the success that I have is that I've been consistent. So since I've started, I've been consistent. I don't have any other job, and I also don't have really any other alternative. So I've seen a lot of guys in the last 3 years, a lot come and go, drop in, drop out, not consistent. I've even seen guys that get a product of the day and that burnt them out, for example. So
wow.
One has to be multi-dimensional. So maybe I read fiction, and I started to exercise. I've lost weight. I've been socializing more and trying to sleep better. So it all adds up. Last year I really pushed myself hard and had many all-nighters. So I still pull all-nighters now, but it's the research shows that it's very unhealthy not to sleep. And so you're actually shooting yourself in the foot bar. You think that you're achieving more, but you're coming online, and then when you are interacting with people, you are less patient, and and your sense of humor could be a little bit dulled. And so it's holistic, and that's what I'd say. It's everything. If it was simple to make money online and to be an affiliate, everyone would. I would say that there's about at least an 80% failure rate And if you want to be like in the top 20%, you're going to like have to do something different than what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let me ask you, what does a day, a day look like for Saul? Waking up in the morning, going to the day, and then your day at the end. What's your day look like for an
Yeah, my day. Look, the one thing that I have to deal with by living in South Africa is that the time zone here is a little bit to my disadvantages in some way. So like we're 7 hours ahead of New York. What that means is that a lot of my work with this community and with the online marketing is in the night time. And it's been an adjustment that I've had to make. I think that it's worth making personally because, the benefits of working online, having colleagues like you and from all over the world and earning dollars in South Africa is a great thing. But a lot of my work is at night. So I would say like around 6 o'clock is when I come online, and I'll start from there, and then I work until about 10ish, and I would maybe rest for a few hours, and then I come back and work till about 2 or 3 in the morning. Then I'll sleep and wake up at about 9 or 10 in the morning, and then I go to gym, and the day is for studying and for like relaxing, and then I rest again and start off at 6. So it's a little bit different. I mean, now I've also got like a new girlfriend, and like she's actually disciplining me to like be able to close the laptop as well, because as I said, like one can get so engrossed in it, and at the same time it's like almost like a maid that comes to clean an apartment. You'd be surprised, but a full-time maid in one day, like she probably does the same work as a half-time maid that comes for half the day, because she's like more in a rush and she's more efficient. So like we waste a lot of time, and like I've spoken to students, and I've even seen like my own desktop could be like hundreds of things on there, or it's obviously not efficient to be working with 10 browsers open. It just can't be. So it's these small things that I'm trying to improve, and like it's a work in progress, and it all adds up at the end of the day.
Well, that kind of leads me right into my next question of what I was thinking. What do you think some of your strengths are, and what do you think some of your weaknesses are?
Well, I think my strength, when I finished school here in South Africa, my first job that I ever had, I needed to work immediately because I needed to get money. And my dad said that if I wanted money, I should go work. So I went to work at the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, and I was a stockbroker for like 8 years. And look, I've got a bubbly personality. I went through like a lot of loss, a lot of hard times when I was young, but one of the positives from that is like it taught me to be able to like connect with people and speak to people. So shortly after actually getting into the internet marketing business, like I realized that there's a huge demand for affiliates, and a lot of product creators are very nervous to reach out to affiliates. So like I create products, but what I've been like, a lot of the success has been identifying trustworthy good guys with good products, and then even like teaming up with them to be able to bring the affiliates, and then I get like I get a portion of that launch and get the affiliates on board, and then it gives me like the opportunity then to like reciprocate and get to know those affiliates. But that's a very rare skill. There's not many people that can do that. And I'm blessed that I would say that is like really a great skill that I've got. I'm also lucky, like, just something that I've got is that I enjoy being on screen, and I like talking. Sure. And like, even though I haven't done that enough, I've seen like when I've actually really done interviews and even done product reviews, that's where like most of the sales come from, because a lot of people like that personal touch. So, right. So that's important. And now also like what I'm working on, and that's helping me a lot. And you've seen some of my emails. A lot of people have remarked my emails have really become very good. A lot about email marketing and even Facebook ads. It comes down to copywriting, and these are principles from like the 1950s, like the Robert Collier letter book, and David Ogilvy's copywriting book, and there's a book called Scientific Advertising that's a classic, and all of that still applies. So those are the basic principles. And then also, like, what I do is when I go through Facebook and I see really nice inspirational posts, I like have a Google Doc that I copy and paste them. So, and when I come back to like writing emails, I use them almost like as a swipe file. I would never copy it, but take ideas from there, because people get, what's so interesting is that every single person, like you and me, every single person reads their own emails individually. You don't read your email with anyone else. You're reading it yourself on your phone or on your computer. And it's a connection made there. Now, I think that most people, like, it's a fact, like, they're living lives of almost quiet desperation. They may be in a job that they're not happy with, or they may be going through a tough time, or they just may be aiming for more. So, like, I put in inspiration with a bit of tough love, with a message, and that motivates people to buy. And I know that I'm promoting, like, a good product, and I'm doing someone a favor to get it, and then the ball's in their court if they're going to implement it or not. That I can't take responsibility for. So, the biggest thing is to just always be improving, and copywriting, and to like be thinking like a marketer is so important, because if you like those Facebook ads, for example, like the ones that really do well are the ones that are sticking to like marketing principles that are proven. It's nothing really new. Like the platform's different, but the message needs to hit home, and when people read it, they need to resonate, and then they need to be moved, and they need to understand like the problem that they're having, etc. And so I do that in my emails, and I put care into the emails, and I put care into keeping in touch with affiliates. And like, it's a full-time job. I think eventually maybe I will be able to have this running on autopilot, but I'm putting a lot of work now, and I'm building a solid foundation that that's going to hopefully feed itself. But I mean, the 4-hour work week, or if guys think they're going to be hitting the beach and chilling, like I don't believe that it works like that unless you have like a miracle happen to you, which is very rare, right?
Well, I mean, that's the one thing people that get into when they first start thinking about working from home, they don't realize that this is a lot of work. I mean, this is not something that happens overnight. This is something that we build up, and it's a marathon kind of thing. It's something you got to be able to be in for the long haul, because there will be those ups and those downs, and you got to be able to handle those downs as well as ups. But you mentioned copywriting, and for me, that's one of my goals right now. One of my things that I've been really paying attention to. And I was going to point out, this is one of my favorite books here. I don't know if you ever read this here.
Oh, yes, Bob Bly. Yes, I've got. I actually got 2 of his books here on my bookshelf as well. Bob Bly's great. It's a good book, and if you read that book, you can like apply a lot of that to what we're doing, right?
Right.
I mean,
absolutely.
I'm reading this book here, which this is a book by Dr. Phil of all people, and it's called Love Smart. And it's about relationships and relating to women, actually. And like, it's also helped me so much. Like, first of all, he's a hilarious writer. He's a great writer, and like his word flow is so good, and his concepts so good. So like, that is very applicable to what we're doing, even though it's not internet marketing. In each chapter, like, his chapters are structured very cleverly, and his wordings are clever, and he uses like storytelling, and he uses interesting verbs and nouns, and like that. So everything, like, I've even been walking on the street and like seen a headline, and then I thought, wow, like that would actually be a really cool subject line that could form a very nice subject line. And then I've like implemented that. And again, it's like when you're doing an email or even like a Facebook ad, the first step is for someone to click on that email to even see your offer. Otherwise, there's no chance of making that ad. So it's the same thing like with a Facebook ad, like that text is so important, or even the video, is that you first have to have someone to stop on it and look at it.
Right. And you only have seconds.
And then you would like onto the next chance of potentially like making a sale or getting a lead. But if they don't even open that email or look at your ad, then like there's zero chance of that.
Right. Yeah. Now, what do you think? I know for me, I try to tell people not to get stuck on this, but what do you think some of the important tools that you would recommend to people? For me, I would think hosting, a website and maybe an autoresponder would be some of the more important tools. What would you say?
Yeah, let's think about it together. And as you say, I think it's important to have a home base. It's important to have a website. So I've got saulmaraney.com. You've got your website. There are a few different models that one could do, but it's definitely important to first have a website. You buy a domain name that I would, like your domain name relates to your name. Mine is saulmaraney.com, and you've got markfromain.com, and you've got, so it relates to your name. It doesn't need to be really keyword rich, because that isn't that important for this, like in this exact example. It's more like a home base. So, and then I would suggest that it should be WordPress, because WordPress comes with plugins, and like one of the important plugins that I use that's very important is that if you're going to like ever post a link on Facebook, for example, you certainly can't do it with JVZoo. And even if you put like a Warrior Plus link, it looks like a JV, it looks like an affiliate link. It looks ugly. It's like funny letters. So I use a link cloaker that is like only $20 or whatever, but it's a WordPress link cloaker that sits in my WordPress. So every single time like I get a link of a product from Warrior Plus, I'll first stick it in there so I can rename it, and it also cuts down on spam, and you can put that on social media. So what we're saying is that you need your own home base. Then you need a few apps, a few plugins there. So you got your website. You're going to need an autoresponder, and like the two key ones that the guys use in our industry is Aweber and GetResponse. You can also go self-hosted, but I don't think that that one needs to go there immediately, especially like at the beginning. Out of GetResponse and Aweber, I've tried them both. I personally prefer Aweber. Like they sometimes like their deliverability isn't as good as on other days, but they're still good. So an autoresponder would allow you to collect leads. And let's think. I don't think that you need actually much more than that. Then you can obviously you would open up a few free social accounts. But like I would say that would be the key tools that are essential to have to start off with.
Sure, absolutely. Well, obviously, 2017 has been a great year for you. Tell us, and I know I want to know this, and I'm sure the audience will want to hear this as well. Tell us what, if we were to come back and meet again a year from now, 12 months from now, what would this conversation look like? 12 months from now, what kind of goals?
Well, if we were having this conversation in January next year, 2019, and we were sitting here and I would, reflect back and be happy with my progress, I would say, I would like to start promoting higher price products and taking my promotions more seriously. So if I'm going to be like promoting higher price courses or software, that means actually spending time to implement it myself first and do the review as like the guys that are really doing the best do it. So there's room for improvement in the way that I am promoting. Also, I'd like to do 1 or 2 solo launches. Like most of my launches have been with partners. I'd like to actually, I think I'd like to push myself to do a solo launch coming up. That would be nice. I've got quite a lot of travel planned this year. So I'm going to be going to an event in Dublin, an internet marketing event in Dublin. Hopefully I'm going to be going to an internet marketing event also in the US. I'm going to a big music festival called Tomorrowland, because that's a passion of mine, is music and dancing. So like that ties into that. Trying to maybe spend more time with my kids. Hopefully like my weight is like where it is next time this year, because I'm like watching my weight. And yeah, like just to remain constant, you know, really every single day. This is not an easy business. If someone is looking for an easy way, you should go and get a salary, or you should go drive an Uber for at least, you know, it's guaranteed. There's nothing guaranteed here. But yeah, like I'm working on my mind, and I'm working on also like just trying to improve elements of myself. Like sometimes you know, like so much of our communication with affiliates is like, it's rare to be on Skype with people, you know, like I just did a launch with a guy now. We didn't talk on Skype once. The whole thing was through chat. So like, I'm also trying to improve the way I communicate with people through chat. And it's a big skill. It sounds like a bit funny but you know, when you're communicating with someone, even like WhatsApp, but now you're talking business, there's no tone involved. And like you have to like that. So I'm trying to improve that. And then also like there's a lot of opportunities that are coming. Like I've only recently met you, and I met you because I like Uncle Phil, who's great. So like there's at the same time, you know, you keep your eyes open, and that's what I was saying earlier. And it is a bit of like an oxymoron, like saying, yes, you should spend time off Facebook, but like some of the most incredible ideas and even products have been from what, like if I can achieve this, and then we're talking next year, I think will be like a big achievement is to be able to have time where I'm actually working, but away from the computer, away from actually being online. And I think that like will make me probably into a nicer person, and like into a, like maybe my real relationships like with my kids or with like significant others could improve. And like I'm aiming for all of that. So even if say making money but I'm not seeing my kids, or I'm getting fat again, like that's not success. It's quite broad and holistic for me.
Well, I think we got some great content on here, man. This is an amazing interview. I think a lot of people will get a lot of value on this. Wrapping this up, is there anything you want to leave with the audience, or anything you want to tell them before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I'll wrap it up. Let me wrap this up. First of all, thank you for having me on the call, and I'm glad that we're friends. And you know, you can see like we've actually developed like a friendship quickly, and
sure,
I hope I can maintain. And you know, reflecting on that, guys, is like the most important thing in this business is relationships and to have support. And most of you are going to find, which I'm sure you like me, you know, I have that, and Shan has that. It's not that much support you're going to get from people that don't understand internet marketing, your family, your friends. I mean, I was actually with some friends yesterday, and like they like basically think I'm unemployed. I've stopped even trying to explain what I do. So a lot of the support comes from like guys online. So maintain those relationships, give without expecting to get. And what that means is that, you know, there are a lot of, for example, launches all the time. So you can support someone, and then maybe when your launch comes, then they could be in another promo. So you don't take it personally, because there are going to be other launches to come.
Absolutely.
Keep on studying. Try get off as many email addresses as possible, as many email lists as possible. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm on 4 guys' email addresses, 4 marketers, 4. I used to be on like 50. So many people are stuck in the inbox and reading. And you know, every time you go to one of these, especially like a JB Zoo sales page, but like literally you're taking your life into your own hands, because you go to like, you know, that's like been written by like a $10,000 copywriter. It's a beautiful page. It's aesthetically perfect. The screenshots, if they're real or not, are perfect. And like, it's the same almost like if you are in a relationship or whatever, it's like good to stick to what you're doing. You're going to be much more successful. So like try get off as many email lists as possible. And like if you look at my products, they all have been basically like around YouTube and Facebook, and that because that's what I'm passionate about. So if you're going to get into a niche within internet marketing, make sure that it's something that you enjoy and that you can stick at. Like I liked CPA. I even like paid a coach, and I made some money, but at the end of the day, like I just realized that I really didn't enjoy the CPA. I didn't enjoy the network so much. The actual products that I was selling, I wasn't like, they were products that were like I never used, like weight loss, or I was doing like CPA for a travel agency sort of company. And also like there was no real social element involved. What I like about being in like Warrior Plus or JB Zoo is like, you know, there's reciprocation, but there's also camaraderie, and you get to know guys. And then when you see them at a conference, and even when you see them online, they become real friends. So guys, do that. You know, on Facebook, you can PM anyone that you're friends with, but it's totally like not a good idea to do that. And at the same, and you know, I'll just end off on this, is that, you know, stick to your own game. And they're great posts, and there's even like controversial posts, and then sometimes people will like jump into a post where someone's been called out and add their own 2 cents, and maybe they don't know the full backstory, and you can burn bridges that way. And you can also become like known as a negative person, and I don't think that is a good strategy. So like watch what's going on, but you don't need to always chime in, and you don't need to be the center of attention. Like I saw the guy that won the JV Zoo, you know, that they put that on Facebook. The guy that's the number 1 on JV Zoo, I personally had never ever heard of him. So like obviously he's huge and he's amazing. And then I actually looked at his wall, and he doesn't have like any screenshots on his wall, none. He's got like his interests on his wall. So like it taught me a lot that I've got screenshots on my wall, and I'm like small. So like there's certain like, you know, we can watch what the guys are doing, and all of that will add up to success if you be consistent. So look, if I've been able to do it, I'm 40 years old, I live in South Africa, I've got like a basic technical understanding. I'm not a very technical person, but I've got great results because as I said, I never had any alternative, and I've stuck at this. I've stuck at it. And I even had like, one company approached me here in Cape Town to come and do social media for them, and they offered me a very even nice salary. And like I didn't consider it because I'm building my own structure, and I'm building my own dream, and I'm dedicated to that. And exactly like what we're saying, I'm going to end off with this, Shan. There are hundreds of ways to make money online, hundreds, but people are dabblers. And for example, you know, you just take one example like YouTube. If you actually learned YouTube properly and you tested some money on retargeting and doing some ads, like you could really do well, and that would be all you would need to make a full-time living. But people dabble, so they start a course and they don't stop it, and then a good Facebook course comes out, they buy that, and then at the end of the day and at the end of the month, they really haven't achieved anything. So like it's important to see something through to completion and stick at it, because you're going to see results. I mean, like the one job that I had, like my last job that I had before I did internet marketing, I actually did recruitment, and it was a shocking job. I did really badly at it, and I had a really horrible boss. But he taught me a great lesson. He said when he looks at CVs, the most important thing that they look at are for completed degrees. So if a guy, it's much better if someone like didn't do a Bachelor of Commerce or an MBA, but they like if they didn't do it, that's one thing. But if they've got like an incomplete MBA, like that looks a lot worse, and that brings up red flags for an employer. And if you know, like he actually told me the statistics worldwide are like something like 65% of people worldwide that pay for an MBA and start never hand in the dissertation and never certificate at the end of the day. And that's the same thing with internet marketing. Like people buy products, they get a rush, but how many of them get lost on the way back to their inbox and don't even download it, you know? So that is a key thing. If you can stick to it, if you can implement what you learn, if you can get off these email lists, if you can strategically use Facebook, and you can stick with the winners, like I think you should win. You should win. You should succeed. Like there's enough people buying these products, and if you handle yourself in the correct way and start building a following and fans, then like you're off to a great start, and that's great advice.
Well, and what's your website? If people wanted to reach out to you, what's the name of your website?
So yeah, I've got a website, saulmaraney.com. You can find me there, and I'm on Facebook, and yeah, I'm around. Like, I'm very accessible, and like I think the best way to get onto my radar would be maybe to, like, if you complete newbie, like, find one of my recent products and buy it. Like, they cost $6 or $7, and then if you could, like, approach me and tell me that you've studied it, and I could, like, see a genuineness in that, I would take, like, I think there would be quite a good chance of me, like, engaging with you quicker than, like, if you asking questions that already have the answer lying in, like, in them. Because if you're asking me a question of, like, where do you start? Well, I've just come out with a great product for $7 that you should go and buy. So yeah, like, that's a good way to approach me and other guys.
Right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Saul. This is Shan from shanstips.com, interviewing Saul. If you get a chance to check out Saul, look at some of his products. I'm sure you'd be totally impressed. This guy puts out nothing but high-level products on Warrior Plus. Find him on his website and check out his social media, Facebook website, and I'm sure you'll learn a lot of stuff. Great stuff, Saul. I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, Shannon. Good luck to you. All the best of luck, my friend. Have a great weekend. And whoever's watching, just good luck.
Thanks, buddy.